the hell is that? That's the chief.
Hello and welcome back once again, my friends. Pioneers of Werewolf's Divergence and Glitches to another beautiful day. And we got a whole lot to talk about today as we get ready to watch Super Bowl 60 take place on the world stage. I certainly hope you're all doing well, sending you all high love and much vibrations out to wherever it is you are in the matrix and galaxy and viewing from today. Let us know if you can hear us, Platonic bro. Let's go, coach. Here for the gems and the knowledge, the gnosis, the wisdom. Let's go, let's go. I'm here to give you guys the code. Y'all know what it is. I'm here to break down this scripted reality that we see on the world stage. So, we'll see what takes place, pretty interesting code we've got to break down. Gonna give a few minutes for people to get in here, but, take a quick look at the markets as we rise into this potential C wave from this low of 59,000 or this recent low of 62 on this chart on the 2 hour. It's the wick low of 59,000 that we had got, being the 17th prime number, but we've climbed up since then and have been looking at ABC up out of here into Super Bowl 60. It's all about the rhyming today, but good. Obviously you can hear me. So let's go ahead and start breaking it down. So we spend a lot of time looking at this code and going slow to talk about what we're seeing, break it down for everyone that's new here. We use astrology, we use numerology, which is the study of numbers, and we apply that to breaking down the gematria and the understanding of a noun, a person, a place, a thing by its numerical value. Okay, and so we use the horoscope, the tarot, the any and everything that we can to show you what we're seeing on the world stage as we're seeing it. But my work has been showing you in advance. So again, just take an opportunity to bring this to you, and share it with you if you're new here, is, not to cause fear or, disprove what you may believe about life in the world. It's just simply, again, taking the Bible or ancient scripture and, sharing with you what we're seeing and why we're seeing it when we're seeing it. I'm not here to predict a winner today, by no means. Competition is for fucking losers, and we know that. It was designed for there to be a winner and for there to be a loser, to get you in duality, on a polarizing side, this side versus that side, my side versus your side. That's just what it's designed for. Competition is not what we do here, okay? We simply manifest greatness, and that's all I can say. That's what my channel has always been about. It's been about sharing that I'm just like you, an average day person, working 2 jobs, only father in it, and successfully changing his life and the life of his pioneers around with not just sporting events or the markets or the news, but by simply just teaching them how to take a thought and turning it into reality. And so hopefully we continue to do that today and continue to make history on the world stage as we get ready to watch Super Bowl 60 take place, a very scripted ritual tying us to 9/11, tying us to the C-19 pandemic, tying us to a whole plethora of things that will paint a grandiose picture for you. And I will, unlike anyone else in the decoding realm, I will try to actually tell a story with my work. Okay? So we'll take the time to do that now. I was just looking for something real quick to get pulled up because a lot of my pioneers know they've been here since 2019, 2020, some of them, or they joined along the way. And they've been here watching the work that we do here and seeing my work in the sports realm particularly, but if they were interested in that. And so there was a book that I had written and started writing that, I was giving, access to an ebook because I haven't been able to publish it yet and afford to do it quite yet. But it all started with the Texas Rangers winning the 119th World Series and writing about how I named this book, obviously, Game of Nations, unveiling the parallels between sports and the precursors to World War III. So it was all about the first chapter and all after the introduction was about the Rangers winning the World Series, 119 days after George W. Bush's, birthday. So anyways, with that being said, I wanted to start by talking about that and the Rangers and the 119th anniversary of that. And, I kind of ended with that code in the last chapter I'd released was the 119th anniversary of what was called The Game between Ohio State and Michigan, the year that Michigan beat them for the third year in a row. Again, all this is we were heading into World War III, sports showing us this. And they went on to win the championship that year as well, Michigan did. Great game that I wrote about being able to go to and watching College Game Day and experiencing a 33-degree weather at kickoff and, 12, 13-hour drive or whatever it was, so pretty unique. And so I've been sharing this along the way of, sports showing the next 9/11 event since, several years ago when the Rangers won the 119th anniversary of, the race for the pennant, in the World Series. And so here we are today, back in the Super Bowl, with this 9/11 code tied to George Walker Bush. As you can see here, George Walker Bush, his full name gives us 60 in Chaldean numerology, which ties us into Super Bowl 60 today. All under President Donald Trump, in reverse reduction, gives us 60, who was elected the 60th president of the United States of America. And this is again coming shortly after the assassination on the eve of 9/11 of Charlie Kirk. Okay? So George Walker Bush being the president during the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Centers. Super Bowl 60 gives us 191, which is the 43rd prime number in mathematics, and he was the 43rd president of the United States during 9/11. President Bush, 191, again the 43rd prime, and he was the 43rd president. But this is an anagram, a number mix-up of 119 or 9/11. Okay? So, tying us in here again to today's Super Bowl game. Another 60 connection is Drake May was born in 2002 on August 30th. 8 plus 30 is 38, plus 20 is 58, plus 2 is 60. And he is starting in today's Super Bowl 60 game. And will he see a victory? Time will tell. Okay? This is important. We'll get into more about this character and when he was born and stuff later on. Okay? But I want to keep it on the code that we're on right now. Moving forward. Okay? So, this 60 is, well, remove the 0 in the rules of numerology. You would remove it. It is the mother of all numbers. It gives birth to every other number. It has no other value. So we remove it from a number sequence to, well, reduce or decode or to simplify our numbers. Okay, so that it resolves and sums to 6. Okay? And this Super Bowl is 216 days from the upcoming anniversary of 9/11 in the 2026 year. And that is mathematically the 6th cube, which is 6 times 6 times 6, giving us 216 in mathematics. So today's Super Bowl game is exactly 2,160 days from the day the world changed forever and they shut it down because of the pandemic and the COVID-19 pandemic. And the halftime performer, Bad Bunny, was born on March 10th, which is what I dubbed the last day of normality before the March 11th shutdown of C-19. Okay? So, a very powerful connection to what we're seeing. Played in Levi's Stadium today, tied to the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, giving us that 119. Okay? The 9/11 code. Tied to, well, Seattle and the Seahawks, right? The Patriots and the Seahawks. You could say Elvis was a Patriot. That's where the Patriots literally get their logo. And everybody that's a Patriot fan knows that. You know? It's public knowledge, you know? They use the Elvis Presley head with the Patriot symbolism of the red, white, and blue. He was an American patriot. Just like Charlie Kirk was an American patriot, some would say. Right? And after his assassination, just like after the 2001 9/11 attacks, we saw Tom Brady, a patriot, win his first ever Super Bowl, starting the first dynasty of the New England Patriots. So, same symbolism of 2001 taking place again. Does Drake May win his first Super Bowl as a Patriot? Just like Tom Brady did after a 9/11 ritual. Because again, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the day before 9/11 this past year. Exactly 33 days before his birthday. Okay? So, pretty unique, pretty powerful, right? But the Seattle Seahawks are home of the Space Needle. And could this be showing us that there is more ritual to come with the Seattle Space Needle collapse, giving us that 119, the mirror of 9/11. Okay? Pretty powerful, pretty unique, right? Or is the Super Bowl logo showing us that where this game is being played in California is the city that they will be ritualizing. Either way, the winner of the game tends to have an event happen to players or a city event or something tied to them. 1997-98, Denver Broncos tore up Denver. We had the Kansas City shooting at the parade of the Kansas City Chiefs after one of their most recent victories, etc., etc., right? Could it be the Golden Gate Bridge, which equals 60? This is Super Bowl 60. It's in the Super Bowl 60 logo. Could it be the Golden Gate Bridge collapse, giving us 111, which we know September 11th, 9/11 is the day, leaving 111 days left in a year. Okay? So 9/11 connections and symbolism. You can't make it up. Elvis the King, 60, as we see Super Bowl 60 tied to the Golden Gate Bridge, and Elvis and the Patriots using his face as their logo. Okay? An American patriot, that red, white, and blue symbolism that I started creating my book on years ago, showing you that, well, this symbolism of color schemes and alchemy rule the world. And the Broncos had a great year, but their orange and blue color scheme showed chaos coming. That is a Freemasonic chaos code that we've shared and exposed on the world stage. Okay? So, pretty unique and pretty powerful. Elvis's full name, Elvis Aaron Presley, gives us that 216 tied to that mark of the beast symbolism and that 666 code, which is just carbon, the element on the periodic table of elements. It is 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons. The mark of the beast is the mark of man. The 6 protons, electrons, and neutrons that make up every cell of every atom of your body, of the Homo sapien, correct? So again, that 216 tying us in to the debt clock and the doomsday clock of New World currency, that 112211 code tied to Super Bowl that we're seeing today, right? That Super Bowl 60 giving us that 66 in reduction tied to the 666 code. The Patriots have won 6 Super Bowls. They can become the winningest team ever with their win today, a 7th Super Bowl victory. Or they can become the losingest team ever and get their 6th loss in a Super Bowl. Because they're tied for most wins and most losses to the Broncos and to the Steelers right now. So with 5 losses tied to the Broncos and 6 wins tied to the Steelers, what curse do they break right here? Okay, that's what we're paying attention to. But this 666 code reduces this 60, Super Bowl 60 being played today. 666 also sums to 156, which is mathematically the 911th prime number. This game is highly tied to a potential event happening. Because again, Charlie Kirk's assassination happened on the day leaving 112 days left in the year. All tied to mathematics and mathematical formulas behind the doomsday clock in crypto and stocks doing what they have recently done, wiping out on the world stage, right? Or gold at new all-time highs, hitting upwards of 5,500 and then taking a 21% plummet. Okay? So, pretty unique, alright? Pretty powerful. The doomsday clock on the world stage of what that we're seeing as a very volatile time period heading into Super Bowl 60, and Bitcoin again just hit $60,000, and I've been breaking this down in advance with my pioneers about landing back on the moon, because today is exactly 204 days since the moon landing, the anniversary of the moon landing. So July 20th, 1969, and if we'd go from July 20th of 2025, the anniversary of that, the 55th anniversary, I believe, don't quote me on that, But from the most recent anniversary of that to today was 204 days tied to cryptocurrency and tied to Coach Abe, the Master Chief of Crypto, the Wizard of Oz. I behave. But again, today is 126 days from the $126,000 Bitcoin we saw on October 6, 106. So again, today is also 126 days from Trump's birthday. Flag Day, pioneers. Okay? A part of our thesis that we teach when it comes to markets and following the flow of money. Okay? So the first annual Patriot Games will be held on Donald Trump's 80th birthday this year in 2026. Could it be after a Patriots Super Bowl 60 victory? Exactly 126 days from the Bitcoin highs, tied to the cosmos and the stars, right? Tied to Satoshi Nakamoto, of the creator of Bitcoin. Tied to Thomas Brady, the Patriot. Bitcoin dumped from 126K after we gave you the Bitcoin price discovery at 126 well in advance. Tied to the mathematics of the circle of pi, right? So very unique that we're 126 days away from Donald Trump, a Patriot's birthday. Okay? So the American Hunger Games that he created tied to the highs of Bitcoin 126 days ago. And boy, the markets have been tanking. Down almost 60%. Do we fall a full 60% from the highs? The Patriot Games giving us that 69, and we were mapping out a 69K, a 60K tied to the moon landing and the space race of the 1960s and the landing in 69. Did we just see our moon landing for the cryptocurrency space? Ooh. Love you too, Carasino. Love that you love catching me live, man. Hope y'all been enjoying it. 22 minutes and 3 seconds in. Ooh, the 223 code tied to Skull and Bones and the Brotherhood of Death. Very powerful, very unique. I'm gonna check these text messages. It could be my mother. Alright, so we're good. Just spam. But yeah, I hope y'all are enjoying the work that, we've put together and have been sharing here as we get ready to potentially see, this scripted satanic ritual 211 tied to Super Bowl 112, or tied to, 211 is the 47th prime number in mathematics, which is tied to Trump, the 47th president, right? So human ritual sacrifice potentially coming to the world stage and an event to happen, okay? So pay attention to, the story. It's, again, so much more than just a winner, a loser. Coach, who do I want to bet on? Like that energy, we ain't got no time for it in our community. And, we've elevated past that. It's all about elevate, because they hate when we elevate and we break this code. And we're able to see these things in advance that could potentially take place. Some kind of another event, right? So, very powerful. Do we see another event like this that happened to this Charlie Kirk man potentially happen to the 47th president? They tried to take him out once. I'll behave. I play too much. I gotta watch what I say, I guess. So, just very unique what we're seeing. Again, this is played in Levi's Stadium, which is, an anagram of Elvis. Levi's. Changed the E and the I. Okay? Or the E and the L, I'm sorry. L, God. Hebrew for gods, right? This is highly tied to the gods and the papacy and, the Antichrist. an event that could happen to the Space Needle or the Golden Gate Bridge that could bring forth the rise of the Dark Angel and the Antichrist, Michael, the Archangel. Again, so we'll get into that again in a minute. But Levi Stadium giving us 41 in Chaldean, tied to 9/11, which was a day that added up to 41 in date numerology. 9 plus 11 plus 20 plus 1 is 41, right? So, just very unique. The code that's presenting itself heading into Super Bowl 60, and we ain't even seen the opening ceremony. We ain't seen the halftime performance, which we ain't really interested in watching it, to be honest. We ain't never interested in watching it. The only reason why we do is to decode the symbolism, because it's a code of universal law, which is, a Jew cannot lie to a Jew, but they can lie to the profane, the cattle. That's what they treat us as. They can lie to us, right? So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into what you can see through your television tonight that tells lies to your vision as you click on the channel, and it channels you into the guide that programs you into the event that you're watching, or the series that you're partaking in, that you're allowing to, well, what are you allowing to be channeled into your prophecy, your vision that you're creating for our work? Because, it's all about taking a thought and turning it into your reality. That's how we live day to day. It all starts with the perception, the I am that I am. Which is, again, what my work I started at the beginning of the video telling you about. It's all about manifesting your destiny. And these elites use these events of energy ritual harvesting to, well, fulfill self-fulfilling prophecies by getting you to, well, give your energy to it. Okay? So, understand that, understand that, so you can, well, then take this gnosis knowledge and wisdom and manifest your destiny instead of someone else's. Right? So, let's continue to break this down. We talked about the Patriots. Well, they get their symbol from a guy named Pat the Patriot. Their logo from Elvis. The face of Elvis with the Patriot head, because Elvis was a patriot, an American patriot. And they have the red, white, and blue, the American flag, and American colors. Okay, it's all about America's team. Right? So Pat the Patriot ties us to the British. The British are coming, because that's where we come from. Right? We come from overseas. So Pat the Patriot gives us that 112, like the British are coming, 112. President Donald Trump 112, or Donald 112, tied to Zionist 112. Again, the rulers of the world. I'll be happy. But tied to Super Bowl 112 and the days left in the year that this man was assassinated, or the rituals that we've been talking about taking place, or the doomsday clock and new world currency, mathematical formulas and mathematics that we are breaking down. With my, very intelligent IQ of 151, I try to tell you a story, other than just matching numbers. Oh, did you see that? I can't believe it. Right? Stuff like that. That people, I don't remember what they say, man. I ain't watched nobody's decode in a very long time. I just barely have time to create my own anymore, with working 2 jobs, being an only parent, and trying to run an online successful business. So, here we are. But very unique code, with that 112 to 11 being the 47th mathematical prime, or from September 14th, tied to the Pope, right? To today being 21 weeks and 14 days from, I believe that was his birthday, 3 days after 9/11, right? Pope Poppy Leo, right? Born September 14th. So from his last birthday till today is 21 weeks and 1 day. So tied to that 47th prime and president number 47, and he's the first ever American Pope. Could we be seeing the first ever war fought on American soil with symbolism shown here in the next potential 9/11 event that many people will not be ready for, but that I hope my work is sharing to potentially get ready for? Okay, so Seattle is from Washington, the West Coast. Just like it's shown in the decode here, the West Coast with the Golden Gate Bridge, this being played in, well, California, Santa Clara, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I believe that's where Levi Stadium is located. It's the West Coast symbolism, the West Coast team. Sam, Uncle Sam, America's 250th birthday is coming up. And that's something we've been breaking down. We knew Sam Darnold, Uncle Sam, was going to make it as America was going to head into the 250th birthday. Okay? And we just wasn't sure as we headed into the horse year if it was going to be the Broncos, and I'm a Broncos fan, so I was hoping them, right? Or the Patriots after Donald Trump created the first ever Patriot games, which are 126 days away. On Donald Trump's birthday, we'll see the first ever Patriot games, right? So, Uncle Sam making it to the Super Bowl as we see the first ever American Pope and America's 250th birthday. Do we see the first ever war fought on American soil? Which is what my book was writing about as we saw the next 9/11 event. But I don't know if this was enough. Okay? So from the creation of Seattle, or from the foundation of Seattle, it was 7,100, and not Seattle, but Washington, where Seattle's from. Like George Washington, who was the first president, right? But anyways, 7,109 weeks to the day, which is the 911th prime number, giving us that 9/11 code. Or if we go from Seattle, the creation or foundation of Seattle, it's been 174 years tied to the Lucifer code. Okay? So that's a number of Lucifer, the light bringer, the dark angel, right? The Antichrist that you could see brought forth out of a destruction and chaotic event of life, death, and rebirth. Okay, it's all about the resurrection after, remember that. So very unique. So, the 174 ties us back into the archangel, okay? Like the 174 years it's been since the foundation of Seattle. And Seattle and Washington tied to 9/11 and Lucifer here, the archangel. Could that be a potential event that we see bringing forth the Antichrist? This game played in Levi Stadium 154 tied to God's clock, Doomsday clock, the death clock, right? All tied to the Super Bowl and the Antichrist. Very powerful. And again, my book, my work, it's all been showing this in advance for years. This was the code. These same number sequences, these same things, talking about these same potential events happening in the future. To the Golden Gate Bridge, or Seattle being the potential next 9/11 target of the Space Needle, etc. And, you know, we see this symbolism, these exact teams as we head into this time period. I didn't know the Patriot Games was coming, but we did talk about the Hunger Games. We did talk about the Hunger Games. But I didn't see it, you know, Donald Trump creating a Patriot Games. Very unique, you know. So, where the two best from each state in their academic field can compete. And so, pretty tied to the Hunger Games, in my opinion, right? They'll nonchalantly blow that off, you know, and gaslight that it's pseudo-science or conspiracy theorist or whatever, you know, the media and others will, but, you know, we see it. We see the code here. Undeniable, irrefutable. So, anyways. To one of these individuals' birthday, I think it's to Sam, no, his is the June 5th. From today to June 5th is 118 days. So roughly that 119 to Sam Darnold's next birthday. Do we see the Seattle Seahawks fall? Do we see Sam fall, Uncle Sam fall right here? You see the symbolism portrayed in this? So Rule of Kal-El would allow us to add one or subtract one from that number sequence, giving us 117 or 119, right? So, very unique. Very, very unique. Okay? So, hopefully you guys, like I said, have been enjoying it so far, and those that are watching in the, the aftermath, you're enjoying it as well. But Mike Vrabel Michael, Archangel Michael, right? Can get his 111th win. I don't even know how many wins the man's got. But his name sums to 111, tied to 9/11, leaving 111 days left in the year. We're tied to, what was that other 111? Oh, the Golden Gate Bridge collapse, right? Bringing forth the Archangel Michael. Okay? So, that's where the gates to Tartarus are. Pioneers, we've talked that, and we've talked about that. So, could we see him win today? Only time will tell. Or he'll be the first ever player to not only win a Super Bowl as a Patriot, but also become the first ever coach to win as a player for the team, and then as a coach for that same team. So we could be seeing a first, like I said, a first war fought on American soil, like my book has taught about. And my work has taught about for many years now. Okay? So, I'm not here to push fear or propaganda or anything on you. I'm just here to use a mathematical number sequence to share that everything is numbers. The way we count money, the way we tell time, the way we get paid, everything is numbers at the end of the day. The way we tell weather, the score of the game is going to be predicted by numbers. The markets are predicted by numbers. Everything. And everything is mathematics. And yes, you can get math wrong, but it's you, the user error, that got the math wrong. Math is always rationality. It's always truth. You have to do the formula or the equation wrong to get the wrong answer. But if you do it correctly, then math is always true and right. You understand? So, we're just using the code of symbolism, of occultism, right? So let's go back before we get to that slide. Because let's see, today, from the Pope's inauguration and the inauguration of the Pope, from when his papacy began on May 8, 2025, it's been exactly 277 days tied to the numerology of the man's name. 277 tied to the apocalypse starts now, 277. And 277 is the 59th prime tied to 17 is the 59 is the 17th prime tied to God. This is God's son, Pope Leo, 131. Tied to Super Bowl 131, right? So very unique that we could be potentially getting ready to see a psychological operations take place, 277, or psychological operations at 119, affecting your pineal gland as we head into Super Bowl 250, right? Or your medulla oblongata, 277, right? The dark side of the moon that we could be seeing as an event happens as we get ready to transition through this ring of fire eclipse, 277. Do not look up. 60 tied to Super Bowl 60. Pay attention today. Okay, so that eclipse where our eyes can deceive us on 217 is tied to the New England Patriots 217. Right? It's all about survival of the fittest right now, 277 and that 119 code. And not letting the eyes on the side that lie daily affect us right here. Foxborough, Massachusetts, giving us 277, home of the New England Patriots. Right? So very powerful what we are seeing and witnessing with this game, with this code of the great deceiver that could be being brought forth on the world stage very soon. That 277 code. So from today to the 1-year anniversary of when Pope Leo was given Proton, the first horse of the apocalypse, is 250 days as we head into Super Bowl. That's going to be tied to, the symbolism of the anniversary of America and the 250th anniversary coming up. The coin in the coin toss for every Super Bowl game that they've been using has had one side that has the 250 for the symbolism of America's 250th. they've been portraying and subliminally programming the minds of the masses with their Orwellian dystopian spellcasting about this coming up. So very unique, very powerful. Okay? So, again, very powerful code we're breaking down, tied to the Super Bowl and the angel of death and the archangel Michael. Because again, who gave the Pope the horse? Well, it tells you right here. You know what I'm saying? The founder of Michalski Stud Farm in Poland. Right? Michael, the archangel. Right? The great deceiver, Mercury, or the Hermes character. The angel of death we could see in 2026, the 226, right? But from February 11th to 315, which is the anniversary of the greatest assassination in the world, Julius Caesar's assassination, the Ides of March, is 11/11/2026, or right there, if you don't add the end day, it's Pi Day, 314. You know, so today's, I know why they picked the day for the Super Bowl, you guys. You know, but our eyes can deceive. You know, this, I think, is the first Super Bowl broadcast in like every country of the world, because they want people to see what's about to take place, the symbolism. They have to tell you the truth again. What happens today and what happens after, as they ritualize this energy harvest today and then get ready to release it as we transition through these next eclipses on 2/17 and March 3rd, 3/3. As we head into cherry blossom season and, well, Uranus transitioning into Taurus out of Gemini. And while we could be potentially seeing these upcoming world war events, because Uranus and Gemini, which is where we are now, is where we always see America get involved in war during a snake year. And we're still in a serpent year for the next 9 days until we transition into a horse year in Chinese astrology. So it is still that Uranus and Gemini effect that could linger past into the horse year, where we could see this event of the first horse of the apocalypse after the Pope was given Proton, which means first. Okay? So very unique and very powerful, the code that we've been breaking down with our pioneers in advance, because our eyes on the side deceive us daily. The eyes on the side that lie. He received this horse exactly 117 days ago. Or if you don't add the end date, it's 116, an inversion of 9/11 or 119, right? Because, well, Luciferianism is all about the inversion of God's word. Okay? So, we have to think of, well, Stranger Things and the Upside Down realm and the inversion and the Luciferian torch of light and deception that is waved in front of our faces. Okay? So, the eyes deceive us daily. Our eyes deceive us daily, 117. The eyes on the side that lie, 117. Right? The eyes on the side that lie daily, 119, 9/11 code, right? So it's all about survival of the fittest right here. Alright? Using your pineal gland as we head into Independence Day and the 250th anniversary of America. Tied to Jessica Alba, who was in the TV series of The Dark Angel that premiered on 103, the Mercury date of the Deceiver, the Great Deceiver, right before 9/11. Okay, and this was about, you know, a show that there was an attack, a terrorist attack, where an electromagnetic pulse wiped out the grid, right? But it was all about her gaining powers and becoming a superhero, etc. But it's very unique, and it was released right before and right after 9/11. Okay, the first 2 seasons for a reason, because it's about this symbolism showing the rise of the Dark Angel, Michael, right? The Great Deceiver. Like in the cartoons where they'd show you Jesus and Lucifer on one side, right? Well, that is you. You're Jesus, you're Lucifer. Okay? It is your choice. to pick which one you want to be in this realm. It's just most don't pick to be Jesus because, well, that's a tough battle and journey you'd have to face doing that, right? Which is what I'm choosing to do by speaking my truth and, trying to enlighten others, while the Sadducees and the Pharisees and the modern day church, well, they ridicule and, get ready to crucify me. So, anyways, I'm just out here doing my work, becoming my greatest version every day, one day at a time. So very unique, very powerful code where we cannot let our eyes deceive us as we head into, these next potential events that could take place on the world stage that we've been breaking down for years now. It's like I said, we were writing our book several years ago, 2023, the 223 year, tied to Skull and Bones. And again, we were talking about the Broncos and the chaotic color scheme of the orange and blue then, the Freemasonic code, things like that, the red, white, and blue symbolism, which is what my book was all about, as we got ready to see war take place on the world stage for America by Trump's birthday in 2025. The red, white, and blue color scheme tied to the Rangers winning the first 119th World Series, right? All tied to George Bush and this 9/11 code. So that this book that I've been writing since November of 2023 has been truly remarkable and showing, what we could see on the world place. Because again, the color scheme is tied to this emergency broadcast code and the logo. And it's letting us know as we head into 250th anniversary of Uncle Sam and America's Foundation and the Illuminati, that we could, be seeing something take place. Emergency broadcast code giving us 119, right? Okay, so very, very unique, very powerful, tied to the Great American Eclipse, all of this. The X that was created over America, letting us know that America is falling. Babylon is falling. Okay, another event coming, and it may not have just been him. Okay, so there may be something big is coming tied to this 217 eclipse, right? Tied to the Patriots, potentially starting their third dynasty by just simply being here. They're starting their third dynasty. But could they win? It's all psychological warfare and the nuclear fallout that we could see postpartum this event. When they get done harvesting this energy and they release it in this realm, this manufactured reality, and the terrorist attacks that we could potentially see. From the day I was breaking down of 2-6 in the 2-6 year, all tied to, well, or simply to show you chaos, right? We're tied to the God code that we've been talking about. We could potentially see chaos because of this code, this 217 code. So from 2-6 day in the 2-6 year, it was 217 days from the anniversary of 9/11, tied to Bad Bunny, the halftime performer, who's dedicating his show to the LGBTQ community, who, well, they support and rock the rainbow color scheme. So it's all for a reason. Okay? So very unique what we are seeing. Right? And the nuclear fallout we saw on the charts. I am crypto's Andy Warhol. Okay, I called this. We've been mapping this out the entire way. Potentially hitting 60K, 69K, and we fell to 59, which is the 17th prime, all tied to Q, which is the 17th letter, which is a representation of Trump, right? These previous ranges for XRP of $1.12 that we had called, all 1 year and 12 days after the anniversary of Trump's inauguration. So it's pretty unique. I don't have that chart pulled up. Yeah, I do. Right here. So Donald 1-2, Super Bowl 1-1-1-2, right? We started this sell-off on January 31st, right after Melania was out here ringing the bell on the 28th, and then her movie released on the 30th. And then it was 1 year, 12 days after his inauguration that the market started plummeting to 60K. So Pretty unique code right here. Trump's inauguration 112, right? Super Bowl 112. This is all of this is happening at the same time. All as we headed into World Monarch Day, and we started, well, metamorphosizing out of these lows and becoming the monarch and the butterfly again. You know, because that's how the monarch and the butterfly, well, it evolved through, well, annihilation. Okay, so very unique what we are paying attention to in the charts on the world stage as Super Bowl 60 approaches after hitting a 60K Bitcoin, all tied to the 1960 space race. And again, my work has been sharing on 11/2. Donald Trump was out here. Okay, November 2nd, the 112 code we've been sharing tonight, right? November 2nd, Donald Trump came out here, right here, when we were still at 111K, tied to, well, 9/11 is the day leaving 111 days left in the year. And he was telling us that we were in the crypto space race in a 60-minute interview. He said we were in the crypto race with other countries to become the crypto supremacy ruler of the world, to own the most Bitcoin and crypto. And so from 111K, that 9/11 code, we then go, after a 60 minutes interview on 112, we then go to 60K and land on the moon. So very unique, very powerful. Hit 59K actually, that 17 code we have been on, because again, 59 is the 17th prime, and he is Q, Mr. 47 or Q, the 17th letter, right? So, very unique, 59 being the 17th prime, tied to the 2617 code, tied to the year of God, that I told my pioneers last year that the 2026 year would represent, which is why we could see the Antichrist, you know, an event take place to bring forth an Antichrist on the world stage. Very unique. I mean, the scripture has only told us about it for like 400 plus years, right? That's the self-fulfilling prophecy that they've tried to speak into their reality, right? The writers of, well, the greatest story ever told. So, pretty unique. You can hardly hear me for some reason. No. Hopefully not. Hopefully that's better, but like, that's a bummer. You know, that really does. My mic properties are all the way turned up. You know, it's the same settings I always use. But like, mainly because I'm not screaming in this video. You know, a lot of times I'm screaming. I'm emotional. Like, you know. But I live on the West Coast and hasn't been this warm. We didn't have a winter since 1917. Huh. What's louder now? Me or the music? I'll cut the music off. Yeah, I kept the volume the same too. Everything we do usually, so. But, I don't know. Let me check it real quick. I can look on my phone. The element on the periodic table of elements. It is 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, the mark of the beast. Yeah. That replay, yeah, you'll definitely be able to hear the replay for sure. No doubt. Like, maybe listening live, the music's a little loud, you know, and I'll try and turn it down a little bit still, you know, but I'm gonna get it going again. It's almost crystal clear, you know. And well, I'll try and make sure I speak up a little bit more, you know. I'll try to keep the yelling down, you know. But really, I just wanted to come out and okay. I just wanted to come out and share what I was seeing, you guys. I wanted to tell the story that I think most decoders wouldn't tell. Try to prepare you guys. This isn't fear mongering. This isn't, just because, right, to make number connections. This is a code that I've been sharing for years. Obviously, y'all saw in the Discord, I've been sharing my book with my pioneers and the students that bought into it. For years, this code and this red, white, and blue color scheme and the potential first war fall on American soil and the next 9/11 event taking place. And then we saw Charlie Kirk recently get taken off the world stage the day before 9/11. Only basically solidifying that that this thesis of mine could be correct, and I don't like that. It's not something I want to pop bottles about, and sit back and enjoy being correct about tonight. Hopefully I'm wrong. It's just like, why does this code keep presenting itself through these sporting events? The start of World War III and the next 9/11 event, throughout a Trump's presidency, right? And well, he's highly tied to, the beast, so we'll just leave it at that. His name being tied to the beast and the rise of the potential Antichrist. Him potentially himself maybe being the great deceiver, right? So very unique. He gave the serpent speech, and we're in a serpent year, which is typically where America gets involved in war, is every serpent year, and that is history and facts there. But it is usually always during Uranus and Gemini. And so he's bombed Iran, and we've seen things take place. So what do we see take place between now and I'm gonna say 2/11, February 11th this year, potentially February 20th, maybe late 27th before the March 3rd eclipse time period, or April 25th, 26th, Melania's birthday potentially this year. As we head into Super Bowl 50, these are some important dates that I'm watching out for scripted events to take place throughout Uranus stationed in Gemini. So March 3rd eclipse, March 22nd, 21st time period, March 19th, spring equinox. I'll be watching that time period highly as well. We know March 11th is the day they shut the world down. I don't think they'll use that same date again. Maybe March 15th and the Ides of March and the assassination of Julius Caesar, right? All these days that I'm talking about are still in Uranus stationed in Gemini, which is again in a serpent year, or it's lingering into a horse year now. And with the recent symbolism of the Patriots beating the Broncos, a horse team, as we head into the horse year, as the Pope was given a horse, as we head into America's 250th birthday, it's compelling. It's again painting that grandiose picture, and just honestly astonishingly captivating, So, do I think Drake scores a touchdown? Let us pray. I know these questions are because you want to bet on it, and like, I can't help but to feel disrespected. It's like the same attitude of, that's why I quit writing about sports and doing sports decodes, is because it's like I said, competition was designed for winners and losers, and everybody's out here just wanting to know, who do I think's going to win, or how can they make money, right? And I'm not trying to belittle your question. I don't know. Did Tom Brady score a touchdown in his first Super Bowl appearance right after 9/11? I would look into that, and I would try and maybe compare the stats to that, and say, well, if he did, then there's a good possibility he gets a running touchdown or at least passes for one. What did Tom Brady do? So that's how I would look at it. Yeah, horse name Proton means first. I don't think it has anything to do with XPR. Again, I think it has everything to do with the first horse of the apocalypse, and you know, the code sharing the next 9/11 event, and why we're seeing the Patriots in a Super Bowl after Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the eve of 9/11, just like the Patriots were in their Tom Brady's first Super Bowl right after the 9/11 attacks. It's yeah. I don't think it has anything to do with XPR. As a matter of fact, I would argue that if we look at the Ingersoll Lockwood website.com at 1717 Pennsylvania Northwest Suite in Washington, USA, you know, letting us know that, hey, they're letting us know the Space Force is hiring, by the way. But if you were to click on this Patriot logo down here, what is it? For some reason, it shows the Super Bowl and XRP, not XPR, but XRP and credit unions and California, the California flag burning, kind of like the Golden Gate Bridge collapsing, right? After Bitcoin hit 126K 126 days ago, again tied to Big Arm Tom and Thomas Brady, a patriot. Like, yeah, I would argue that it has a lot more to do with XRP, a San Francisco, California-based crypto, USA crypto, than XPR. I'm just saying, I mean, I didn't create this. They did. Scan the QR code on the bottom and you tell me what you get. You know? I'm just saying. You know, very, very unique. So, I mean, what we're seeing, the football here, tied to the Super Bowl, right? I'm not just making this shit up. There's footballs all over this. Okay? You can go to the Ingersoll Lockwood website yourself. I'm going to put it in the chat for you guys in the live stream. You know, I didn't make this website. Like, who is Ingersoll Lockwood? Do your own due diligence and research. He said I wasn't able to scan the QR code. I heard that. But yeah. He was an American lawyer. He wrote the children novels, including Barron Trump novels, just so you know. But some of y'all might find that funny. But yeah. Just tied to the Trump character is all. Tied to the Patriots. That's why I brought it up. Tied to the debt clock. If it's tied to any crypto, I believe it's the San Francisco, Silicon Valley based one. You know, if we look at the US debt clock, it even has that X at the bottom. I guess you can say that's Twitter, but you know, it's there. So again, that can be reference to the eclipse too, and the soul, and you know, coming up on the 17th, and the code we've been sharing. But Time Travel Baron, yeah, that could, I think that could have been one of the novels. So who y'all got today, man? Like, personally, Trump's first, you know, his first crypto bull run, you guys, his first true crypto bull run was in 2017 during the Eagles' first Super Bowl victory. So, you know, could we see another Seagull team that's tied to currency? They are seagulls. They are Seahawks, right? That's tied to the ocean, right? Tied to currents, tied to currency, right? Tied to this eclipse coming up. The moon, it controls the sea, the currents, the currency, right? You know, I could see the markets regaining bullish structure out of either way. I can see them regaining bullish structure out of this scripted ritual. A Patriots victory and a Patriot Day 126 days away. Again, we're 126 days away from the 126K highs today. And we're 126 days away from the first ever Patriot games on June 14th, Trump's birthday, what's known as Flag Day, and a part of our thesis where we tend to be bullish leading into that time period. Okay? So, pretty unique number code. So, I'm just watching, could the Seahawks win and give that bullish 2017 price action during a Trump's, first term under Eagles victory, soaring to the skies, right? Either way, I can argue that both could be bullish for the markets, right? So, heading into America's 250th birthday, Patriot Day, things like that. Which 9/11 is now called Patriot Day, right? So you see what I'm saying? They caught Charlie Kirk's shooter 33 hours after his assassination on 9/11 Patriot Day. This man was known as a patriot, right? So very unique what we're seeing. Even his hair kind of reminds me of the Patriots logo a little bit. But just in that picture, I don't know if it always did. Kind of like Elvis, right? I don't know. So very unique what we're seeing, the code. Drake May was born in Charlotte, and I think Charlotte Hornets just won their most recent game, 126-19. That 9/11 126 code that this is showing. Drake May, a Patriot quarterback, born in Charlotte. 10 years ago, he was at the Broncos and the Charlotte Carolina Panthers Super Bowl 50 as a fan, and now he's playing in his first ever Super Bowl appearance. So, Charlotte defeated the Hawks by 7 points, 126-119, 9/11 code, 126 code tied to Thomas Brady 126, right? The code that we were sharing. 126 days from Bitcoin's high tied to Bitcoin's price discovery. We're at Super Bowl 8, 126 days away from Patriot Day. Okay? So, Charlotte defeated the Hawks by 7 points on the anniversary of Tom Brady winning his 7th Super Bowl. You see what I'm saying? In their most recent Charlotte Hornets game. And that's what I found unique. I don't know. New England can get their 12th victory in the Super Bowl. Right. No, they can get their 6th victory, but it's... Yeah, they'll say it tonight. I know they will. I'll think about it in a minute. I wrote it out so my Pioneers tied to that number 12. It may have been the Patriots just got their 12th AFC championship to get to the Super Bowl. I just don't quite remember exactly. It's a lot of code to try and remember, Again, it's not here to fearmonger, but March 12th is also a day I'll be looking out for, 33 days away from now, tied to Trump, winning the past election with 312, and Kamala having 226, and this is 2026, right? That's exactly from the start to the first full day of Saturnalia, and when Trump declared the Patriot Games, that's 2 months and 23 days from when Trump declared the Patriot Games. So that's why that's there, tied to the Hunger Games, right? So very unique. But yeah, I'd really like to know what you guys think. Who you think's going to win, though, I guess. Because I guess that's all anybody else is going to care about. Who's going to win, who's going to be the MVP. What color Gatorade is going to be poured on the winning coach. Will there be a streaker? Will there be a streaker? Let us pray. Will we see a world event? I bet you can't bet on that. They don't want you to even know about that. But yeah. So the British are coming, man. That's all I gotta say. I don't watch sports at all. I'm totally disconnected from all sports except World Cup soccer, which is 2026. Yeah, well, it's going to show some symbolism in it. So for those that don't watch the Super Bowl, that's fine. Again, I think this is the first one ever aired in all countries of the world to make sure that, you know, a lot of people can watch it. They're still going to show you something when you watch your World Cup or whatever, you know. So, you know, it's about taking that and understanding it, understanding that it's more than just a game you're watching take place. You know, these are gladiators sacrificing themselves, and that's what it's always been since Mount Olympus. You know, when they used to feed us to lions, but that's inhumane now and just unjust, and well, I don't know. That's the morals these folks have still, but they give it to us in a more watered down way. So, in the Coliseum tonight at Levi Stadium, we will see a victor. It don't matter who it is. I think the code is telling us enough, you know. Unfortunately, you know. The book I've been writing for 3 years has been showing all of this, you know, in this time period. The red, white, and blue code we're seeing with the Patriots there. The 111, 9/11 code we're seeing. So I won't get the credit for it. Probably until I'm long and gone, passed away, you know, I might get some flowers then, but they'll give the credit to so-and-so and whoever decoder that's probably out here again just, oh, look at the 131 connection. Can you believe it? Anyway, things like that, you know. Do they tell a story with their work is all I'm asking. You know, I try to always tell a story. And usually, again, not bragging, not boasting, but those stories tend to, well, they come true because I've developed an eyesight, you know, for, well, seeing into the handbook of the elite or the script, whatever you want to call it, right? You'll hear an announcer tonight talk about potentially one team has flipped the script, right? So, anyways, you know, Ada Wine's birth card, April 26th is my birthday. Just Ada Wine's able to be prophetic is all. I use that ability. I use the code, mathematics, high IQ, right? Put it all together. So. All right, you guys. Well, it's 3:30 almost, and you know, we're gonna get off here, gonna walk the dogs, gonna take care of the son, make us something to eat, you know, and get ready to see what they're getting ready to script to everybody on the world stage. Like I said, Super Bowl 112 tied to Donald Trump and the leader of the world stage in the free world right now, and highly tied to the papacy and the first ever American Pope as we head into America's 250th birthday. Does the false rapture begin now with that 122 code? Or is it potentially, you know, an event to the Golden Gate Bridge or the Space Needle? Another 9/11 style attack, a potential another virus outbreak tied to the 666 code, where, you know, they try to get you to stick your arm. Lockdowns round 2 coming back. I'll behave. Financial collapse and, you know, debt crisis, liquidity crisis right here. I mean, more than, you know, the 52% we've already seen. 126 days from the 126K highs, and we're looking to bounce from 69, a previous 6-year high, as we head into Super Bowl 60 tonight. A pie code that we broke down all in advance tied to the start of season 2 Fallout. No, you didn't do it all in advance, Coach, did you? We done did it again, Pioneers. Today is 4 months and 7 days from Donald Trump's birthday, Pioneers. From Flag Day. Come on. And you're bearish? You know what I'm saying? So, very powerful. But yeah, just very unique, very powerful. Alright. I was going to go to that and share that, where I shared that this morning for you guys. So from today to Flag Day, the first ever Patriot Games, and Donald Trump's birthday is 4 months, 7 days, and he's the 47th president, right? So are we getting ready to pump 47 to 60K? 47 to 60K would put us, you know, let's show you where that would put us from the 59K lows, because again, 59 is the 17th prime, and Donald Trump is Q, 17th letter. 47% up would put us back at 88, a number tied to Donald Trump, 88, Trump 88 in numerology, right? And if we were, because he's the 47th president, so if we were to go up 60% at a Super Bowl 60, because he was elected the 60th president, that would put us right at that 96K range, up from our lows. Okay? So 60% after hitting 60K lows through Super Bowl 60, all under the 60 inaugurated president. So, very powerful. President number 47 who won the 60th election. So sorry. But y'all know what I meant. 1960 space race. We just lived through the crypto race, you know. So very unique, you know. I made a post in June of last year, this man's birthday month, last year, 2025, preparing y'all for the crypto race that we would see take place next. And here we are. You know, literally. Almost a year in advance I gave that post, 6 months ago or so. Yeah, roughly 6-7 months. So very unique. Did we continue to, at a World Monarch Day, did we continue to blossom out of this metamorphosis and, you know, become the beautiful butterfly and monarch born out of annihilation, right? The life, death, rebirth ritual that we teach you about. 126 days. I think it was 117 days from the highs to the lows, right? Bitcoin 117 code, right? So February 5th. It's 3 months and 30 days, 123 days, 17 weeks and 4 days, which is that number of Lucifer, from the highs. Okay, and this decode was highly tied to that 174 number, right? That archangel, the number of Lucifer, right? Seattle's in its 174 years since, you know, being founded. So, very unique. But that's when the lows came. We're 123 days after the 10-6 highs, the 1-2-3 go code that we teach you. Basically a 17-week period, you know. 173. 17 weeks and 3 days after Bitcoin's highs of 126. Bitcoin hits lows, which Bitcoin BTC using the ticker symbol gives you 173. So highs, and then 17 weeks, 3 days later, 4 days later, tied to cryptocurrency 174, we're at lows and could be bouncing. You see, I've been mapping this out way in advance for this potential fourth wave, and everybody thinks the world's ending. I mean, this code is showing us a potential 9/11 event, but a potential war narrative, but war is typically bullish. Gold's at recent new all-time highs, potentially getting ready to do the same fifth wave. Just like silver is looking to map out the same fifth wave. Oh, that's not silver, but I mean, it's palladium's looking to do the same thing. So is, well, this actually may have already done it. Platinum is looking to do the same thing potentially. But silver is potentially getting ready to map out another 117, 123K, 126K, right? And look at what the Dow Jones just did. Hit its first ever 50,000 points. I mean, just went down, up 2.47%, you know? So, what do we see take place for the markets moving forward at a Super Bowl 60 taking place on the world stage today? You know, as of right now, I've been following our drawing very well. So, could follow this 1618 or this 1618, 47K again to 50, 54K, 53K. I'd say 55, 56, numbers of God, right? A perfect number sequence. But anyways, we'll see. Back testing this previous fallen wedge, breakout, back test, transition through Uranus retrograde, have the first ever Uranus retrograde cycle high out of Uranus stationing direct while Uranus is still in Taurus as we head into America's 250th birthday. Like, we could be seeing a lot of firsts take place on the world stage, and the markets as well. So very unique. So 911 code in the markets as well, as Bitcoin's market cap is holding 1.19 trillion as support, and then getting back above 137, the 33rd mathematical prime. And if we can get past 1.44 trillion, well, we ascend. That number of ascension, the 144,000 chosen, right back to 1.74 and 204, numbers tied to cryptocurrency. And, well, Lucifer, the light bringer. So I'll behave. Lucifer and Baal, Super Baal, the superb Owl Bowl, tied to Moloch, that will be taking place today. Okay? So, very, very scripted energy harvesting ritual getting ready to kick off. So we're getting ready to end the live stream at, roughly an hour and 23 minutes, man. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. I did notice Trump coin went up to $74 and went down to $4.70. Trump being the 47th president. Bitcoin last year hit $47,000 lows, or 74K lows. The year before that, it hit 47K lows, and we called that in 2023 or 4, and then 2025, 74K lows. Yeah, it's just tied to the 47 character that this man is. I've shared this 47 code since the beginning of my work, you guys. A lot of people that may be new here, my name is John Michael, 47, and I created the Pioneer Academy. I teach pioneers, how to become, the pioneer. And so I did a whole decode about this one time, that this work, this 47 number has been in my work, since the evolution of, the Daily Kennel Closed News here. I shared with what are now famous podcasters and YouTubers and crypto analysts, like example Waters Above on YouTube in a live stream 2024 of April, that we were getting ready to see a presidential batter change heading into elections, and that we could see a 47K Bitcoin prior to seeing 47K, as we got ready to see an election of president number 47, and how that the batter change could be Kamala Diva Harris replacing Joe Biden. And so I basically shared all this, or that it was the rise of Babylon, or the rise of the whore of Babylon, and we saw that. And I shared this 47K before August and seeing it in April, and I really do feel like that I never got the credit for that, for using this 47 code since, again, the beginning of my work, and then watching it at this point probably make a motherfucker millions, by using it and not giving it its flowers, But anyways, evolution, about becoming the one, Neo, right? So, I just did a whole decode in my work about this before, and, even where I was born, Ohio, the state, giving us that 47 connection. So I think, like, from the beginning of time, it's all been in my work, But yeah, I can't quite remember all the 47 connections right now tied to me. It wasn't what I was coming to this video to do. I got it written down in notes somewhere. I write all my stuff down. I'm old school. Really don't enjoy fallen angel technology that we're all using today. I'd rather write somebody a note, right? But anyways, only time will tell what happens with the markets. But I'm signing out of here, you guys, at hour and 26 minutes in. Crazy. 126 days from the high. 126 days from the first ever Patriot games. You can't make that up. Like, the code, you guys, the code that we've been on. Bitcoin price discovery 126 that we mapped out in advance to hit 126K. That's nuts, man. That's nuts, you guys. So, Giddy Squad, hey man, thank y'all for coming and supporting. Share the video out, get it to the world, let them know what potentially we could be seeing. The last Super Bowl, what? Who knows? But Coach gone to spend the time with his son and enjoy the rest of his day. Much love and high vibrations, pioneers. Rise, build your fortress, build your legacy. Let's go.